Hello, this is the Sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, and today is Monday, October 3rd. After finishing the first weekend in October 2022, you find out the temperature is 48 degrees around here and going up to 72. Had the mask, sunshine come through, and according to Hispanic Heritage Month, in this day, October 3rd, 1714, based on the idea or the fact that Castilian and Spanish are the two most spoken languages in the Hispanic community, there were 3 academies started to help preserve or keep the languages going. And since then, 24 more academies have been established related to Hispanic languages. The first one on this day in 1714. Hispanic Heritage Month. Yours is the next story. Over the weekend, now the football season has started. Still have some undefeated teams. Maybe yours is one of them. And speaking of football, Miami. Anybody that was watching the game saw Tao's reaction to being hit, which created quite a stir based on the fact that in the previous game, he had been tackled, hit, and reflected some head injury. But this time, when his head made contact with the ground, his fingers spasmed, which indicated that there was some neural damage. And upon getting up, which I saw myself, he kind of stumbled. So, goes back to concussion protocol and things of that nature. And the decision, due to the original contact made by the doctor that said he could play, resulting in further injury, so young and early in his career, that decision was met with a lot of reaction. So that doctor that made the decision has been fired. You have to be careful. Have to be careful. Have to be careful. Speaking of sports a little bit more, football, but not as we know it in this country. Football, meaning soccer in other countries. There was a disaster in Indonesia, resulting in 129 people being killed. This was a very important soccer game to the Indonesian people. The losing team rushed onto the football field, rushed onto the field to protest the loss. Subsequently requiring those in charge for crowd control to fire off tear gas canisters, which resulted in the crowd panicking and trying to exit between the tear gas and the suffocation and people being trampled because there was just one exit for them to go out of. There were 129 people that died. Also, the stadium had a capacity of 38,000. They sold tickets for 43,000. So that also added to it, the overcrowding. And the tear gas led to panic and trampling and suffocation of those people that were in the arena. The president of FIFA, which is the worldwide Federation for Soccer, has continued, since this has happened, to offer apologies to everyone that's concerned and was involved. In Indonesia, some families have already started burying, their dead. And I think it was like 15 young people, like 15 and younger. I think the youngest was 5 that died in that trampling situation or panicking situation resulting in all those deaths. So it's a horrific event. Sports is enjoyed by most people, should say enjoyed by all, whether it's table tennis on up to equine, horse jumping, or whatever the case may be. But in all cases, people in charge have to, be mindful of safety, number one, crowd capacity, and also the unexpected reaction of enthusiastic fans. So this tragedy in Indonesia is one for the books and urges caution amongst all people involved in sports administration. In California, since I've been talking so much about rappers and what's going on here and how the industry has ended up getting the kind of reaction from rappers that they get, California governor officially signs rap lyrics bill into law. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a discrimination artistic expression bill, which will restrict the use of rap lyrics as evidence in court. AB 2799 was signed in action by Newsom on Friday. The Discrimination Artistic Expression Act receives strong support from artists such as Meek Mill, Killer Mike, Too Short, Ty Dolla $ign, E40, YG, and more, who were present at a virtual signing for the bill. This goes back to who's beefing with who, or what's going on with who. A little line or phrase referencing this or that, some incident, some personal revelation, some involvement, interaction, which may get a reaction from party or parties involved. So now this bill kind of sets the tone if some criminal action comes up from that, because previously judges have referenced, most recently there was a case, referenced what was in the lyrics of a rap song to help make the decision as to what the verdict was going to be along with the sentencing. So there you have it. National Archives says Trump records from the Trump White House are still missing. So as detailed as they were, I think it was 11,000 documents resulting in hundreds of thousands of pages, all involved, excuse me, all involved in this situation with Trump and classified documents. So now they say there's more missing. That's one thing. And then I'm listening and I see another situation where it says that Trump gives Mitch McConnell the death wish and talks about his wife, Margaret Cho, who was on his administrative staff at the time that he was in the White House. So I kind of just passed over, well, there's Trump talking some more about something else and, so forth and so on. But then when I saw the news clip on the TV, he was talking this way and Mitch McConnell was standing right next to him. I mean, I couldn't believe the audacity of the man. Because if somebody was talking about a death wish for me and they were standing like right next to me, all kind of legalese would jump into my mind. You know, I would have like processed that immediately, you know? It's like certain things and phrases that people use. You don't think of it as, you know, this is go, no go time, or this is the time to go because they've given you the signal that this is go time. But he's standing right next to the man. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. And Mr. McConnell just kind of like looked over at him. I said, wow, he's going to talk about you, your wife, everything else, and you standing next to him? So I didn't try to process it because that would not have been me, I'm sure. I probably would say, okay, now it's my turn to talk. Step right in front of him. But that's strange. That's strange, you know? Well, maybe he wasn't expecting that. I'm quite sure he wasn't expecting it. But nonetheless. Getting back to the parent company, Facebook, there's been some more information, I guess, a little more details because of not only Facebook, but several companies that were considered to be, to use the older expression, sure bets as far as profit is concerned, top 10 companies. And Facebook rode that wave for so long that in this past year to this month, from last year to this month makes a year. And Meta was established. Facebook prior to then was running with something like 60-some thousand employees. And then with the launch of Meta, that went up to 80,000. So now they're kind of scaling back because the profit margin did not really manifest itself the way it was expected. But then again, I still say that it was supposed to have been an 8-year run on getting all this into, you know, solid acceptance amongst the tech community and people buying, purchasing, et cetera, et cetera. So originally the product was priced at $299. The latest project is going to be $799. But, you know, we can look at Facebook because it's been stable so long. And then you have, which I didn't mention at the onset, in this case, you have Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram have been their stable go-tos because Instagram kind of picks up where the Chinese company that launched TikTok, you know, has taken over the market. And then you do need advertising for your business and things of this nature. So all these things kind of play a factor. So in which I will mention at this time, if you're watching on Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, like, comment, share. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. The Sideshow with Theodore Parker. So you have not only Facebook, but all these other businesses that have taken a downturn over this last economic, you know, quarters or whatever, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and so forth and so on. So I just want to interject that. They hired over 20,000 people to keep this Meta thing up and running, and now they're starting to scale back a little bit based on what the numbers are saying. Again, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, like, share, comment, share. YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. The Sideshow. So I had seen some other things, you know, in and around the news. You know, still dealing with people recovering from Ian in Florida. That had moved up to South Carolina. I didn't see any reports quite yet on that. The weather, as far as we know, is still facilitating that. And Kentucky, the governor in Kentucky decided to lend some aid to Florida, even though Kentuckians in eastern Kentucky are still trying to pull themselves together from the flooding that they've experienced. So it just shows that on a worldwide basis, have to lend a helping hand, to those who are stressed, distressed, and suffering acts of nature. So the whole world at this point is kind of looking at the Ukraine and Russia. Again, Russia's admitting to the extent that they are pulling out of certain cities in Ukraine. News clips showed Ukrainian soldiers putting the Ukrainian flag up. I think it's the city of Lysom. I think 60 Minutes had an interview with Zelensky's wife, explaining the spelling of her name being different from his, the feminine version of it, and all that she has participated in trying to keep the country operational, especially amongst schools, because there's been so much property damage that kids are not attending school. Well, it's been the same way here, but for different reasons. And her efforts to keep things going in regards to children, hospitalizations, things of this nature. So it was a pretty good interview. And considering, and I probably haven't said this before, considering that it showed some pictures of them being married and things of that nature, stills, that I wanted to say he started out at one time was a comedian, but I had to upgrade that to owning a comedy club in Ukraine. But now he's president. So from humble beginnings, great ideas. So all of it is not making jokes. Got real serious right there. So today is Monday, October 3rd, 2022. This is a Sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker. Again, if you are watching on Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, like, comment, share. If you're watching on Google, aka YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Monday, October 3rd, 2022. First weekend in October. That's it. Hashtag.